Welcome to Hunt for Peace, where we combine our love for Dungeons and Dragons with our mission of helping raise mental health awareness. Before we dive in, a quick note. This series discusses D&D adventures, including Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, which may touch on themes like isolation, loss, and horror that can be triggering for some listeners. Please take care and explore at your own comfort level. Let's roll the dice and begin. Hi everyone, I'm Chamberlynn. This is my co-host Dalton, also my husband. I'm very excited. Today's the start of a new series we're going to be doing, incorporating mental health into existing D&D campaigns. And our first one that we're going to be covering is Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. So be sure to check out our YouTube playlist. We'll have more and more videos coming out on how to run this adventure with focus on mental health as well as character creation, the Rime of the Frostmaiden poem, hype videos, things like that. So let's get into it.
I, for one, am super stoked to explore the frozen, eerie world of Icewind Dale. This is a concept that I've wanted to do for a while, and now to be able to incorporate mental health with it, for me, just makes it all the more better. This campaign's brutal winter and haunting mysteries are really perfect and spot on for diving into a lot of mental health related themes, resilience, overcoming isolation, a lot of different things that you can take and put into real life scenarios. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of guidance through the story itself, the setting, how that can incorporate and kind of work hand in hand with some of the mental health things that we go through on a daily basis, and then kind of dive into how we can take those different things out and utilize them for our own, and then just kind of in general really explore how tabletop gaming and tabletop RPGs can really help not only mental health issues but friendships and community and a lot of different resources that can then be put into your daily life.
The goal for me, at least as we're starting to run this adventure, as we're walking you through running it as well, is to resonate with each player a different aspect of mental health. So, like Dalton mentioned, the isolation, lack of community is a common theme throughout the 10 towns in this campaign.
And expanding that into kind of everyone, I feel like that's one of the biggest issues that people, especially those who do suffer from mental health, have to deal with, especially in today's day and age with the internet and everything else. Making friends is hard, finding community is hard. And so being able to find community and solace in a game where you can really get out of your comfort zone, get out of your own head, and create that community to where when you are having a bad time, you have people to reach out to, because not everyone does. And helping put people in a position to have that community and have someone to reach out to is one of the most special things that you can do.
Yeah, I will say that without my D&D community, this past year would have been a lot harder for me.
Absolutely.
So, just tapping into the D&D community, you make new friends. You're cooperating, you're role playing, you're telling a story together, and friendships just form naturally throughout D&D. So that's kind of what led us to create this concept
Absolutely.
of incorporating the mental health into our Dungeons and Dragons games, because it's all very real stuff that you probably have suffered with at one point or another, or you will. Let's be honest, even if you had a great life, unfortunately, life will probably throw something at you sooner or later. So it's great to have a community and tools to navigate these traumas.
100%.
So we kind of touched a little bit on why we chose Icewind Dale with the isolation, the depression, things like that. I will say, as you're running this, absolutely set up some sort of safe word with your party, an X card, something like that, so that if they need a second to step out, they need to move away from something, just making sure everyone feels safe at the table would be number one for as you're starting to run this adventure. Myself would probably use a safe word, and everyone typically has Discord open as we're playing for NPC images, maps, things like that. So we'll have a private channel. If they're not feeling comfortable, they can just message me and we'll step away. We'll divert for a minute. They can take a minute, we can come back, or we can just divert depending on their preferences. But we're not going to make a big deal about it. Everyone's going to be respectful, and this is going to be something that we cover in session 0.
And that goes for any adventure you're running, and even past D&D itself, to any card game or TTRPG or anything like that where you are incorporating mental health or just exploring things that could be touchy for some people, touchy subjects, touchy themes, touchy plots.
I think that's all. It's very common. I mean, every campaign you're going to have violence. You're going to have moral lines that probably shouldn't be crossed, genocide, things
absolutely.
Like that. Like, it's part of the storytelling. Unfortunately, it's part of history. It's part of real life, even in real world. So setting up a safe word in a safe space is super important.
And we actually had a D&D that did a dungeon master, a DM, I'm sorry, that did a campaign with us. And prior to starting the campaign, they actually went as far as to create a little poll that they sent to each player to find out where their low soft lines were, then where their really hard lines were. Like, I'm not comfortable with this.
Or it's like, I'm comfortable with this in this setting, but don't go past this. Like, it was very intricate.
And it
basically
takes
a consent form, but for role playing, so that she understood, like, where the line of, like, you could say blood and gore all the way to, like, child abuse.
Exactly. There may be people who are sitting at your table that you didn't know were abused by their parents when they were a kid, or whatever events they had going on in their background, and it may seem like nothing to you for that to be a part of the story, because there are events like that in a lot of different campaigns and stories. So knowing that going into it, and just being able to keep all of your players a lot more comfortable, happy, and just make it a positive experience for everyone is very, very important. So that was something that I loved that she did. And something that I think we will do moving forward with our groups, whether it is the poll like that or whether it's something that's discussed kind of one-on-one with each individual player. However we decide to do it, that is something that I feel is very useful for any DM or anyone running any type of game where you are coming across a lot of new people and you want to make sure everyone's safe, comfortable, and having a good time.
Absolutely. So I want to kind of talk about some of the things that we are doing to change the theme just a little bit, homebrew it a little bit, to match the mental health.
Okay.
So the first thing is, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, not too bad. O'Reilly's Rime is something that the cultists use. It's an actual poem that they will say when they're basically worshiping the Frostmaiden. And so one idea I had was to have, if they come across the cultist or someone near them within a radius is chanting this rhyme, it actually amplifies those negative emotions. Basically, so like if the character that they've designed is suffering from self-esteem, that negative emotion would then be amplified. So it could create a really cool role-playing opportunity for the characters to find out about their, I won't say their secret, but their trauma, what they're dealing with, emotions, things like that, and help them role play through it. And basically, it would create a bond with the party as they're all learning more about each other and what they're struggling with.
Absolutely. And to give a little bit more backstory, one of the things that she had talked about doing with DMing this campaign is, unbeknownst to us, we're all going to kind of draw out of a hat some sort of secret or something from our background that's going to be news for us to learn, and no one else in the party will know about it. And all of those things are going to be kind of like she spoke on, mental health related, and give us something to overcome and to work through and to really dive into that as a group and as a party. So I'm really, really excited to see that aspect of things and really incorporate. And it could be that what you draw isn't something that you actually suffer from, but it also in turn could be something that you actually suffer from. So you could be putting your players in a situation to legitimately help them through something that they deal with, because as they're growing and they're working their character through these problems, that is going to resonate internally with them as to, oh, it's going to click at some point, like I can use this in my real life, like I can use this to overcome my abandonment issues or claustrophobia or whatever it may be. Like it's a very broad thing, and that's something that I think could really be beneficial for not only us playing in the game, bonding and growing as friends, but for each individual person. And even if it's not something that resonates with them, they're going to learn tools to overcome something negative. So even if it's not the exact ailment that has been wow, that train left the station really quick. um, wow.
Can I just go now?
Yeah. Even if it's not the same ailment that they've been dealing with, it's still a positive tool that they will have learned to grow with and mature with and heal with, which is truly the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think two notes on that is the secrets are actually something within character creation in Icewind Dale. I'm just reflavoring them a little bit to match some people's traumas or not. I don't know all of the players' in-depth backstories. And I do want to say that player consent is number one. If they draw a card they are not comfortable with having that secret,
Absolutely.
they can redraw. It's not a big deal. And if it's something that they don't think fits the character in their mind, they can redraw as well. And within that, the secrets could be just normal backstory secrets from Icewind Dale from the actual book. But I am encouraging the players to create their backstory with their own comfort level of trauma that their characters have. To kind of weave their mental health into the backstory of their characters, such as like if they are struggling with resilience, like they give up easily, maybe they want to teach their character that. So I'm encouraging them to weave that kind of stuff into their backstory. Another thing that we're implementing into Icewind Dale is a mechanic. So we've looked in the So looking at Frostmaiden's chill is a condition that imposes temporary psychological effects to encourage players to role play through those effects in order to overcome them. So instead of a constitution roll or anything like that, like you would really need to role play through. And this would encourage the players to build community within each other, but then also learn how to talk about your feelings because that is literally the hardest part.
Exactly.
Like what is it, the 10 rules is like admitting you have a problem is the hardest part, but I really think it's talking about it. What is that,
Oh,
number
12, the
two?
12 steps.
Yes, the 12 steps. Yes, sorry, I messed that up. But
See, and I was actually going to ask, what you kind of hit it on the head as to what the original effects of Frostmaiden's Chill were, to kind of compare that to what you changed it to, and then what was really your thought process and inspiration, other than the obvious, to targeting Frostmaiden's Chill and making it do that? What was kind of the thought behind that?
I think that especially in early campaign time, it's really hard for players to connect with each other, especially if they don't have a relationship up front. So this campaign, we're running with three newbies. They're all friends of ours, but they don't know each other. And so pretty
Mm-hmm.
much everyone at the table is going to be a stranger except for you and your brother.
Yeah.
Obviously, y'all know each other very well.
Along the lines with that, how do you intend on also incorporating the big theme of the 10 towns into the mental health aspect of things?
So D&D kind of did the work for me a little bit in the 10 towns because the theme was already so dark. NPCs are already facing mental health issues like depression, isolation. Um, Not to spoil too much, um, they're basically like Alaska when there's like no sunlight. So the Frostmaiden has actually essentially taken the sun away. They're in a barren wasteland of just nothing but snow and blizzards. And so, as you can imagine, that takes a toll on anyone's mental health,
Absolutely.
especially the citizens of um, the 10 towns.
So it kind of ties in with the 10 towns as well as not a lot you got to do with the NPCs. They're already pretty much exactly where you need them to be.
Yeah, and some of them might be some reflavoring, but for the most part, a lot of them aren't friendly
Okay.
to strangers, to passer goers. So I'm hoping that the dialogue opens up not only within the group to help work through those mental health issues, but also they're going to have to work harder than the average party to get these NPCs to open up because they don't trust outside people. They think everyone has a secret. They don't know who's working for the Frostmaiden, and they're isolated. Just like when you have depression, you don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want anybody to talk to you.
Yeah, you're going into it having to try and break all these people's walls down and
Yes.
really get them to open up in the process of getting each other to open up. Another aspect of D&D that I know is huge, especially with a lot of DMs, how do you intend on incorporating the mental health aspect of everything with giving players inspiration?
That's a great question. So I do at my table, I have a table rule where I am very forthcoming and I like to give inspiration a lot. Um, a couple of different ways. But one of the ways that you can earn inspiration, and I actually stole this from my friend Cami, so thank you, Cami, is through role playing. So just great role playing. I love it. I eat it up. I encourage it. And so if there's a great session of role playing, the parties involved in that role play will receive an inspiration.
Awesome. And now, I know you kind of touched on this briefly earlier, but can you go a little bit more in depth, especially for any other potential DMs out there that like this idea and want to run this and love the mental health aspect of it? How do you intend to, aside from like the safe words and things like that, balance the dark nitty gritty themes of the game, the horror aspect of everything, to avoid anyone becoming overwhelmed or uncomfortable or
Yeah. I think with the game, just like life, you can be going through it, but life will throw you a bone every once in a while. So as a DM, the campaign, obviously my number one job is to make it a safe place for everybody, and my number two job is to make sure everybody has fun. So
absolutely.
I was planning on incorporating perhaps some sort of festival, maybe in the player's honor if they happen to complete a quest. I'm trying to tiptoe around some of the things, so I'm not spoiling too much.
Find a
But
way to make it
yeah,
lighthearted and have
yeah,
achievements and
you've got
positivity
to have
and
good and the bad. So I definitely am going to incorporate some funny moments, some funny NPCs. We talked about the heavy NPCs with a lot of trauma, but there are going to be some fun NPCs the party will meet along the way as well.
interesting. So one thing that I know is very special to me with D&D because of Hunter, and I know it's important to you too, how, and it's something that you have to get comfortable with. It's not something that comes easy to really anyone, no matter how open and conversive you are, which I am, but it still did not come easy to me. It really took Hunter to really pull me out of my shell in that aspect. How do you intend on encouraging players to kind of explore their emotions kind of through downtime and campfire talk and like when everyone goes to the pub when everything's done and they're sitting around the table? How do you intend on getting people to dive deeper in so it's not just kind of the quick easy, oh yeah, have a drink, eat some food, go to bed, moving on?
I think as a DM, our main job is as a story weaver. So I can't get the party to do anything, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes all DMs want to just like take someone and just shake them to get them to do, to follow the story as intended.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but in that note, again, my job is a story weaver. So all of the player characters are going to have backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's up to me to integrate little pieces here and there of their backgrounds, maybe even hint at one of their secrets to get the rest of the party engaged, intrigued, because you're not going to walk up to somebody the fourth night you spent with them at camp and say, "I have depression."
Yeah. Tell me your deepest, darkest secret.
Yes, that's something that middle school girls do at sleepovers, but probably unless that's your party. I mean, that's great. But to emulate real life, I'm just gonna weave little bits and pieces of backstory into there, and hope you guys pick up on it.
Drop little subtle hints to elicit a response, to dive a
Yes,
little bit deeper. So this kind of going back, this isn't just a have a drink, go to sleep thing. It can be if you want, but you're missing out if you do.
yes, 100%. Um,
And not to cut you off, but kind of to go a little bit deeper into that. Um, that was something that when we started it with one of our first D&D groups that we were in, I wasn't vibing with it. I was not vibing with just the sitting there doing the role play stuff, just talking, and then even we had a Discord channel to where we could continue off doing it when we weren't in session, and it was just something I had a really hard time getting into. But it was a late session. It was probably 10:30 or 11 by the time we finished session that night, and we're getting ready for bed. We're laying down, lights are off. I'm ready to go to sleep. It's probably 12:30ish, and I hear my phone ding, and I check it. And Hunter was the same way I was. He did not want to do the role play stuff. He did not want to do the campfire messages. It was just not his shtick. And it was this long message from Hunter talking to me in character in role play, and I was like I have to sit up in bed, turn the lamp on, like I'm taking advantage of this. I'm diving in, and it got me so far out of my comfort level into it. I started to really see that joy in it and what it brings to the table with the game. And I, to this point, even now, I never would have if it wasn't for him doing that and coming out of his comfort zone and sending that message. So I was super, super appreciative with that. And it goes to show, like, with everything, especially the mental health aspect of all of this, get out of your own way. And I say that in the nicest way possible. Get out of your comfort zone, and there is no better place to do that than here. You can escape everything for this, even if it's just for 2, 3, 4 hours. You're not you anymore. You have the ability to really dive in and focus in on just being a different person and exploring this new world. And you don't even think about everything else out there. You don't think about how bad work was that day, or how depressed you've been the last week, or this or that or the other. It's just so, it's such a weight off to just let it all go and dive into this really one foot after the other 100% and just take it all in. It is not something anyone would regret. It's therapeutic. I want to use that term very loosely with what this is, but it is therapeutic. It is therapy without a therapist, because I I haven't done anything else that gets me out of my own head like this does, whether it's video games or a TV show or going out to an event or whatever it is. Nothing gets me out of my own head like this does. So take advantage of that, because it is so healthy to have that it starts 2, 3, 4 hours. You're not in your own head, and when you realize that, it's like, this didn't bother me for 3 or 4 hours because of this. Like, I can do this. Like, it shows you how doable it is to overcome the things that you're dealing with, because for that period of time you were okay, you were happy, you were focused, you had a goal. And those are all things that you can turn around and incorporate in your day-to-day real life, that can continue to help you get out of your own head and just reap the benefits of in everyday life of what this brings to you. So the moral of that whole long ramble is just be open to it. I was very, just in general, not open to D&D for a long time. I've always been a nerd. I thought this was a whole different level of nerdy. I was very skeptical with this, but it is one of the best decisions that I've ever made for my day-to-day life, for my mental health. It is so beneficial in so many different ways. So just be open to it. Be open to trying new things. Be open to getting out of your comfort zone and just have a good time.
And if you happen to be one of those people that somehow stumbled across this video and you don't play D&D, or you don't want to play D&D, or you want to play D&D but you don't know how, I would highly suggest there's a few different ways you can find a party. One is startplaying.com. It's typically cost money because you're paying the DM for their time, so that would be a paid option. Another option is most big cities have D&D in X city. So like we have a big group of, I say we, our area has a huge group. It's like D&D for DFW because that's where we are. And there's all the time, I need a player for Tuesday nights in Carrollton or this or that. Like there will be a game within 30 minutes or an hour of you. And if you can't find a group or you're not comfortable going to someone's house, which is totally understandable, there's probably a gaming store near you. Adventure League is a big one. So most gaming stores will run adventure leagues every week, every other week. It depends on their schedule. Just call a gaming store near you.
But kind of piggybacking off of that, and for the women out there and the women listening, what really got her comfortable and got her into it, Geek Out at least, and I'm sure there's tons of other stores that offer a women's only D&D night. Um, just because with a lot of backgrounds and situations, there's times where that is just more of a comfortable setting for women, at least to start. I know it was for her. She benefited heavily from that. So don't feel like that's not an option for you just because you're not comfortable going somewhere alone, due to the world that we live in. Call your different game stores like she asked, or like she had mentioned, ask around, see if they have a ladies' night or something of the aspect. And if you don't really know where to start, and this kind of goes back into broad spectrum for everyone, comment on the video, email us, message us. I will do the legwork to find you a place to play. That is how much I truly believe in this. I will do the research, whatever I can, try and get into contact with either someone or a store near wherever you are and see if that there's some way to make it work for you, because this can be so beneficial. I want everyone to be able to take advantage of it. So if you don't know where to start, by all means reach out to us at any point in time and we will do whatever we can to point you in the right direction.
Awesome. Well, I'm very excited for this series on Icewind Dale. I hope that everyone else gets out of it what we are intending on getting out of it. And our next video will be on character creation. We touched a little bit on it earlier about how to incorporate some mental health aspects, the secrets things like that into it. So make sure that you tune in for that one in 2 weeks.
And one more. So after the character creation, we are going to continue to do episodes after each session as kind of a review to talk to you guys about how we were able to intertwine different mental health aspects into the game, let you guys know how it went, what we did, how it worked, things like that. So you can kind of essentially keep up with the campaign with us as well. So by all means, keep an eye out for that. I think it'll be a whole lot of fun, and we're really looking forward to sharing everything with you guys.
Remember, this is a mental health podcast. Please make sure that you like and subscribe. Check out our other videos. We are bringing on a lot of really cool guests to help with actionable items with your mental health. And remember, if you're in a crisis, the 988 hotline is always there 24 hours a day, call or text. Or if you're having a medical emergency or you are thinking about harming yourself actively, please dial 911. Remember, you are loved, you matter, and we'll see you next time on Hunt for Peace.
One more. Forgot one.
Which one?
You are not alone. Thank you guys.
And you're definitely not alone once you find your party.
Yeah.